Hello there, it's 121:21 at the Wine Steward on the mezzanine. And that's beer. Yeah, we carry some beer. That's a brand new one for us, and we'll be talking about it in a minute. In the meantime, it just looks good sitting there while I open yet another bottle to try out, because that's what we do. We try out a lot of wine on your behalf. Thank goodness there's always a spit bucket around. Where's the spit bucket? Ah, got it. I'm not set up. Sorry. Well, keep listening. I gotta get that bucket. And we will have a Wine Steward video, shall we? We have a lot of things to tell you. And here I am. I'm back. The most important thing to tell you, besides whether or not this wine is going to work for the Wine Steward, and I'm still making that judgment. I've got my notebook here. Let's just let that sit and come back to it and tell you that, as many of you know, and as many of you have already been very active with, we do several Zoom events. They are the best and frankly one of the only ways that we can share wine with you these days. And that dawning of a new age will come when we get to be with you upstairs here on the mezzanine and present wines over the course of 2 hours, 12 wines in an evening per a certain subject. Can't wait for those days to come back. But in the meantime, this has been a nice little solution in the meantime, the Zoom event. And so many of you have played the game where we offer, before the Zoom event and right up to it, a sample pack of wines to purchase. They're kind of like buying your ticket for the show. They're all delicious. You won't have a problem with these wines at all. And yet you get to hear about all of them because you're not going to recognize these things during a Zoom event. Sometimes with me, but more frequently with a winemaker or an importer. And that's what's going to happen on Thursday, January 28th. It's only a week from now. We're not giving you much time, letting you know about this now. So let's get right to it and say that because he's presented so well for us in the past, because many of you have gotten to know him, Tom Kelly comes back once again to show Italy. These will be 6 new wines that we haven't Zoomed before. And it's a 6 wine pack that you can go right now to our website to purchase. Your purchase of that and my senior email gets you qualified and gets us your preferred email address for being invited to the Zoom event, which will happen at, I believe, 5 p.m. January 28th, one Thursday from now. Now, what are we going to put in that pack for you? What is Tom Kelly going to talk about? A wine that many of you already know because the Tuesday Night Wine Club just did get this. It's a familiar label because we've clubbed it before. But to keep the price decent on this pack, we wanted to put in a couple of wines that A, we knew you would like. B, if you've already had a bottle, you will not mind having another bottle of this. And C, I can't remember what C is, but the point is this wine is gonna just like come in handy, and it's inexpensive, and it keeps this whole pack down to, I think $136, and that's before your wine club discount. If you put your club code into your purchase field, the code field on that website cart page, then you're gonna see that price drop to, I believe, under $124 for 6 really delicious bottles of wine. 1 white, 5 reds. They're all very, very good. They include this wine, Due Amici, and that's from the Marche. Here's the white wine. It actually is by the exact same producer, Marchetti. We tasted it with Taylor just a couple of weeks ago and said, that's the white we want to talk about this time because we haven't done a Verdicchio in a while. So Verdicchio and a beautiful red wine from the Marche region of Italy is where we'll start. We always have to represent Tuscany because so many of you know it and love it. This is yet another wine that was just clubbed. This went to the World Class Wine Club, but many of you have not had it. We want all of you to get to try it. So it's going in the pack. It is 100% Sangiovese from an area called Montecucco, which is south of Montalcino in southern Tuscany. And it's generous. You can taste the south, the southern warmth, the southern fruit comfort in this wine. Sangiovese is never more friendly than it is when you go to southern Tuscany, as this wine will indicate to you. So that's fun. We're going to go to the island of Sicily twice. We're going to go there first for Sicily's best known grape, which is called Nero di Avola. Nero di Avola is dark and saucy and has a certain richness. Sometimes it can be too much of itself, if that makes any sense. Like, whoa, that's a lot of dark, that's a lot of rich. This one is just barely under control, and the price is way under control. This wine is super affordable, well under $20 a bottle. and we're going to have it that night, and Tom Kelly's going to tell us all about it. The other wine is a little more geeky. It costs twice as much. Let's show you the front label. This wine is from the actual mountain, the active volcano on the island of Sicily, which is called what? Etna, Mount Etna. And the Mount Etna wines are more delicate. They're, you could say they're a little like Pinot Noirs. They're very fragrant. They cost more because the yields are lower there, and yet they are wispy and fragrant, and restaurants like A16 have made a big deal about this wine type over the last 15 years perhaps, and grown our awareness of Southern Italian wine in general. Well, one of the most beautiful, elegant Pinot Noir style wines from Southern Italy is certainly Etna Rosso. So this uses 2 grapes. We're going to talk about those 2 on that night. And I hope you will sign up soon and get a couple people perhaps into your garage so you can whip through all 6 bottles. Of course, you don't have to open all 6, but you get to hear about all 6. So maybe you just choose to open the red and one of the reds and the white and call it a day. Maybe get some cheese and charcuterie here at the Wine Steward to go along. But maybe if you have safely spaced another couple or 2 in your garage, or if the evening is nice out on the back porch, then, you know, maybe we can get all 6 of those open with you. It'd be fun. So look forward to that. That Zoom event is, of course, open and available to everybody. And we are always letting you know as well that we do Zoom events for corporate concerns too, for groups of colleagues, business counterparts, where we might even send a group of wines to this address, that address, via UPS, and once they've all landed, we all get together in a Zoom event and talk about Spain or France or perhaps Washington State, you know, with 3 or 4 wines out in front of you, and maybe sending a little food along as well. So consider, we can do that for your group, however large or small, really. If it makes sense to both of us, why don't we do that? It's the best way to get together and make your Zoom meeting, which is sometimes nothing but business, makes it more interesting, right? Add a little frosting to that cake, make that a nice wine frosting. This wine does smell good. This is the one I'm checking out. It just got here as a sample. This happens a lot. This is an Oregon Pinot Noir that we'd be selling for perhaps 21 bucks. And I'm assessing it. Do we have an Oregon Pinot at this price right now? And if we do, is this wine better than the one we have? Will this be replacing it? So, you know, it's all about like, how good is it? And then how good is it for the money? And how necessary is it? Do we already have something like it? I've got to run all of these questions through our head when we try a wine. And sometimes it's not something we buy immediately, but it gets noted. We write about all of these wines we check out. It's very pretty. Does it beat the broadly that I've just ordered? I'm not sure. I will continue to test this wine. All right. Here's some nice news for you. For those of you who've been fishing around on our website and using that to do your shopping, and then maybe still visiting us on a curbside basis, or maybe you just like to use the website. You're more techie that way and you like to shop around on there. Perhaps you've noticed that we have different collections on there. Like if you're red wine shopping, there's red wine domestic and red wine foreign, and there's white wine domestic and white wine foreign, and so on. But those, once you hit those collections, so to speak, it's pretty complex. There's a lot of wine to fish through, and you're wondering, have I had this? It sounds familiar. Is there anything new on here? What we just added is a new collection, so to speak, on our website called Just Out of the Box. So that implies that these are wines that have just arrived, and I'm gonna do my best to keep that thing new, refreshed, to remove things that are starting to age and just put them over onto the other part of the website. Let's put something up here that is an example. Okay. Muga Rioja. Muga Reserva. This is a 2016, and this is appearing both in our Just Out of the Box panel, because it just got here, and it'll be there for maybe another couple of weeks, but it's also in the red wine foreign, so you can find it in either place. I want you to find it, because even though we carried Muga over the years several times, it's been absent from our shelves for too long. This is a classic. I've drunk it in Spain, I've drunk it here, I've had it in restaurants in San Francisco, and I can always order this wine with great confidence that it will always be good. Whenever Muga chooses to make a reserva, it's going to be a really delicious Tempranillo-based wine. These guys are so fascinated with their wine quality, so into it, that they even make their own barrels. It's a pretty cool place to visit in a town called Aro Haro, in the Rioja region of Spain. So Muga Reserva, it's beautiful, 95 points from James Suckling. It is great, and it's also young, so we want you to use a decanter on it if you're going to be having it soon. It's not hard to drink, but it has more to say if you air it out, and it's also, that's the proof that this wine can age very nicely for you. Muga happens two ways all of a sudden this week. The other way is this, a wine type that is often not worthy of your attention. Basically, white Rioja is sometimes kind of an afterthought. Of course, the people in Rioja need a white wine, right? So they make white, but not as many wineries actually take it seriously. This is one of the best white Riojas I've had in a long time. This is worthy white wine. Prices in the low 20s, and I think you wine club members can get that price down under 20. This is going to be based on Viura. Viura is a grape also called Macabeo when you're having it out in a cava bottle back in the Penedès area, but we're in Rioja. Good old Rioja is where they call it Viura. And there's a little bit of Garnacha Blanca in this as well. So those two grapes get together. Most of the wine is done in stainless steel to keep it fresh and youthful and to keep that fruit intact, but some of it does go into oversized barrel for barrel fermentation. And these barrels are not new, so they're not giving oak flavors, but they're giving oxidation to the wine just for some roundness. So this wine, even as the bottle shape kind of implies, is almost as big as a Chardonnay, but has totally different like stone fruit flavor. That's the difference. It's got some mouthfeel compared to like your Spanish Albarino or Verdejo, but it's more lush, a little more rich. It's really nice wine. These two new wines from Muga can be found in our just out of the box section of our website and in the places they would belong typically on our website as well. Now what? Let's tell you about another wine. This bottle's empty. Sorry, you can't have any. However, we're about to get 4 cases of this today. It's landing. It's already on our website, so go ahead and order it. We'll have it by the time you're picking up, I promise. This is a beautiful Pinot Grigio, which will have a lot of you just like, don't turn off the video. Pinot Grigio actually has the capacity to be a very, very, very good wine, but more often than not, it's made in a kind of thin, acidic, watery, fun, easy, kind of brainless way. And a lot of that is, $10 and less. You've seen those wines. This is a little over $20. And again, I think it peaks under $20 when you apply your club code to get your 10% discount as a club member. Verdicchio Gesera Pinot Grigio is special. When you pour it in your glass, you will be surprised, unless you've heard this video first, to see not a brilliant white color, but a slightly copper tinged color, maybe almost like a little bit rosé-like. That's because the Pinot Grigio grape, also known as Pinot Gris, as a mutation of Pinot Noir, it actually has a light pink skin to it, grayish pink. And if you give the wine skin contact before fermentation, normally you remove juice from white grapes immediately and ferment it. But if you choose to, it's a style thing, you will get a little bit of color from the skins of Pinot Grigio in your wine. What else do you get with skin contact? By leaving this wine on the skins for about half a day, there's a little more richness, a little more amplitude to the wine, even a little bit of tannin going on, which is kind of a red wine concept, right? But this wine is substantial, food-loving Pinot Grigio Gesera. Yes, Pinot Grigio can aspire. This one does. We carried it a long time ago. It's back, so it's going in that new arrival section, just out of the box. That's the back door. That's a delivery guy. I've got to go open. So this is going to be part 1. I'll come back with part 2 in just a minute. Sorry.